Okay. So today we are dealing with an important topic, that is budget, right? The mini economic survey that is there, okay, that will be covered by Vikas sir. Okay. Now, in budget itself, there are two parts of it. One is the scheme part, right? Because this budget is an interim budget, so the government was much more focused upon laying out the implementation of these schemes that it did in the last 10 years, right? So that scheme part is there. And second is the economic aspect of it. Okay, that is rupee is there. If you're earning rupee, how much percentage is it from the direct tax, indirect tax, corporate tax, all of those aspects. Okay. So this part of it, economics part of it, we'll cover it in the next week class. Okay, the economics part of it, simply because there is not much to it. There are certain static content of it which we have to focus. For example, as I've mentioned, the rupee aspect is there. The second one is regarding capital expenditure, fiscal deficit. No? So all of them are basic terms. And this week was supposed to be your economics class, right? The basics of economics class. So this portion of the budget we will cover here. Okay. So today we are focusing much more on the schemes that have been mentioned by the government in the interim budget. Okay. And we think this year we can expect two questions from the slides that you're going to learn today. Okay. We're expecting two questions from this topic. Fine. So let me just tell you why we think this is important. Okay. For example, this is your 2023 paper. Yes. In your 2023 paper, if you go through the UPSC question, this was Janani Suraksha Yojana, right? Similarly, if you see here, it is Anemia Mukt Bharat strategy. Yes. So any commonality here? The commonality is both of them, they were specifically mentioned in your budget. Okay. So that part of it you have to note. Fine. So see, what we are focusing upon here is the important schemes that have been there. We will focus on that front here. Okay. Now, similarly, see, that was 2023. See the 2022 pattern. What is going on here? Again, Ayushman Bharat mentioned in your budget. Okay. Now, this one is your economics part, that is capital expenditure. Okay. So we are seeing every year one question was definitely asked. This in 2023, we saw two questions being asked from the budget, both based on the scheme aspect of it. Okay. And the interim budget is focused more on the same. So that is the reason we have to cover that topic. Fine. Now, which areas will we focus on? Now, there are many schemes for the decade, right? So which scheme should we focus upon? So we will focus upon those schemes which have been specifically highlighted by the government of India in its interim budget. Okay. For example, what do I mean by it? When we talk about the budget, it has clearly laid down that there are four major pillars that the government is focusing on for Viksit Bharat, right? One is related to women, one is related to farmers, for youth, for poor. Okay, these are the four major pillars that the government is focusing on, right? Now, out of these four schemes, the government itself has highlighted the points that the government would like people to know about. For example, when we talk about female empowerment, it is specifically mentioning what? Mudra Yojana, female enrollment is there. Okay, Lakpati Didis is there. Okay, when it is talking about poor, here we are talking about, again, this is something that has been directly taken out of PIB. Okay, the infographics of the PIB, right? That is PM Jandan account. Okay, similarly here, another scheme. Okay, so the schemes that have been specifically highlighted by the government in its PIB, this is the schemes that we will focus upon. Okay, now some schemes, they have been what? They have already been asked. If you see here, already asked, okay, already asked. But that does not mean these kind of questions cannot be asked again. The reason is, again, see here, you can see this Janani Suraksha Yojana. Has it been asked multiple times in your UPSC? This one has already been asked. Okay. Yes, exactly. Okay. Old scheme. Okay. It's already been asked. I think in 2010 or 11 has already been asked. Okay. So when these schemes, important schemes are there, you should focus on those aspects of it. Fine. All right. So let's start with these schemes one by one. Okay. For example, you see Mudra Yojana, right? Already this is a UPSC question already asked. Okay. Now here, based on the new pattern of UPSC, earlier it was just focused upon the objective and the ministry involved. That was the length of the UPSC. But now we are focused more upon the beneficiaries aspect of it, right? So based on the new pattern now, this kind of questions can be asked, right? So who among the following are eligible for assistance under the Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana? Okay. So 6 options are given. You tell me, who do you think are eligible here? 3, 4, 6. Okay. 1, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 1, 5, 6, 3, 4. 3 and 4. 2 and 5. Except 6. 1, 3, 4. Excluding 3 and 6. Chalo. So let's see here. Again, these kind of areas you need to cover, right? Eligible beneficiaries aspect, we have already seen NALSA, all of those kind of questions, right? So let's jump into this topic. That is Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana, right? So what is this Mudra Yojana? It is basically focusing upon refinancing, that is micro unit enterprises and providing collateral free loans. Okay, so it has 3 basic categories. We already know this, that is Shishu, Kishore and Tarun, right? So it can give credit up to 10 lakh rupees. Okay, now what you have to note here is it focuses upon the manufacturing sector, the trading as well as the service sector. Okay, so all kind of manufacturing, trading and service sector related activities can get Mudra loan. Okay, so anything that you're doing here, it can be availed under Mudra scheme. Okay, so the scheme aims to provide collateral free institutional credit, and here the funding is for non-corporate small business sectors. Okay, so here it's a form of refinancing aspect for banks, for NBFCs, be it small finance bank or even regional rural banks. Okay, so any loan you need up till 10 lakhs, you can avail it under Mudra. Fine. Now, who all are the target clients? Now, that is important here. See, it has been specifically mentioned who all are target clients. Okay. Now, any entity here, okay, it can be any of these entities. All of these entities can seek, okay, loan under the Mudra scheme. Okay, anyone who is related in manufacturing, trading, or services. Okay, for that matter, even if someone is opening up a franchisee model, okay, that is basically service. Okay, if you're providing service, you can avail loan under Mudra. Okay, now What about the monitoring of the scheme? Okay, so at the state level, you have state level bankers committee, and at the national level, you have Department of Financial Services. Okay, now other important points here that you need to note here is, okay, one is the eligibility. Okay, so any Indian citizen who is focusing on a non-farm activity, that is the most important point. That is, the category has to be non-farm. It can be processing, but again, not related to farming sector. Okay, exactly, direct in the farming sector. Apart from that, for processing all of that, you can avail. Okay, now there is no subsidy for the loan which is given under Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana. Okay, now PAN card again is not compulsory. Life insurance again is not mandatory for loans under the scheme. Okay, so if you want to avail loan under the non-farm sector and you want to avail up till 10 lakhs, you can avail it under PM Mudra. I hope this is clear. Okay, now tell me which statements are correct here. The eligible beneficiaries. It would be yes, all of them. Okay, so that aspect you have to keep in mind. Now tell me, just let's revise very fast. Okay, we will revise because there are many schemes here. Okay, we'll revise all the content as we go along. Okay, so that will help you in your revision part also. So what are the important points that you remember regarding Mudra? One is collateral free loan. Yes, non-farm, very good. Okay, no PAN required, not compulsory. Yes. Okay, Indian citizen. Yes. Okay, no life insurance. Yes. This is basically a refinance scheme. Okay, refinance scheme for all finances, right? Yes, it can be regional rural banks also, that you have to note. Okay, small finance bank, regional rural banks, all of it. Yes, manufacturing. Okay, trading. Okay, not nay, Nitish, farmers can avail. Here the point is that loan should not be used for cultivating the land. Okay, if you're cultivating land and you want to process the food, तो उसमें कोई problem नहीं है. Okay, but it should be for non-farm activity. Yes, service is there. Okay, yes, and apart from this, again, allied ke liye, exactly. Okay, so there are three specific categories here: 50,000, 50 to 10,000, and 5 lakh to 10 lakh. Okay, three categories. Fine. All right, now who is monitoring the scheme? You can see at the national level it is Department of Financial Services. Fine. Okay, come to the next scheme. नहीं नहीं ऐसा बोलेगा नहीं. The reason is allied ना. Specifically it is given. Okay, allied sectors it is given. Both it will not confuse. Fine. Yes. So now we come to the next one. Now this one is the one which we are expecting in your UPSC, right? That is, what are the objectives of Lakpati Didi scheme? Or 3, 1 and 4. All 3, 4. All. Okay. All right. So let's see here. Okay. Again, objective kind of schemes and their objectives, they have been asked multiple times in your UPSC, right? So let's see here. when we talk about Lakpati Didis, right? So what is it focusing on? Okay. Now here the important part is three important points that you should remember. First is who are the targeted beneficiaries? Here it is the woman in rural areas. Okay. We are trying to empower the women in rural areas. Okay. Now, how are we trying to empower them? By imparting various skills. Now, how is this scheme different from other schemes? Okay. Generally, if you see any woman empowerment schemes or woman employment schemes, it is limited to tailoring. Okay. Whereas here we are focusing on providing skills, especially which is required in the current century. Okay. That is one is plumbing, one is LED bulb making, and the most important one that is drone operation and repair. Okay. So the government is seeking to provide the skill to the women in the rural area so they can supplement the income and at the same time ensure there is increase in agriculture income also through drone monitoring. Okay, so that is a major point that you need to keep in mind. First is the beneficiaries are women in rural areas. The second is the skill that will be imparted. Here it is plumbing, LED bulb making, even drone operation. Okay. Now the third one is yes, it earns a sustainable. They want, as the name suggests, you want the woman to earn a sustainable income of at least 1 lakh per annum. Okay, and the participants in the scheme, they must be active members of self-help groups. Okay, so the government wants the rural woman to participate in this aspect also. It wants to empower self-help groups also. So only active members of SHGs can participate under this scheme. Okay, so this is major points that you need to keep in mind. Okay, now there are four components here. You can go through it. That is fine. But the important points are yeah, fine. Now see here. Actually, it is one is correct, three is correct, four is correct. This one I should have rephrased it better. Okay, I actually wanted to say it is limited to urban women. Okay, but that is not correct. It is rural women. Okay, so this statement is actually my problem. I did not phrase it properly. Okay, so here the answer is 1, 3, 4. This one is also focused on rural women. That is the point that you have to keep in mind. Fine. Okay, come to the next one. Okay, now see here again, when we talk about another scheme which has been promoted by the government, right? That is Prime Minister Street Vendors Atmanirbhar Nidhi Swanidhi scheme. Okay, so this, if you see, even in the interview this year, this question has been repeatedly asked. Okay, Swanidhi scheme, what is it? What does it entail? Okay, so based on it, again, some questions framed. Okay, now this one is already a UPSC question, you know. So you tell me, which statements do you think might be correct here? Okay, that is PM Street Vendors Atmanirbhar Nidhi scheme. 1 and 2, 1 and 3. 1, 2 and 3. 1 and 3. Okay. 1 and 3, 3. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. Yes, PM Swanidhi scheme. Right now, here this scheme was launched during the COVID. Fine. It's a microcredit scheme for the urban street vendors. Okay. Again, an area that you need to focus upon. Okay, launched by, now this kind of question is not asked. Now yeah, provides collateral free loans of up to 50,000. That is fine. But how, you have to note that point also. That is, it is done in incremental tranches. What does it mean? That is, you provide loans in three tranches. That is, first you can avail only 10,000 rupees. Okay, after the repayment of 10,000, you are eligible for loan up to 20,000. Okay, after repayment of this, then you can avail up till 50,000. Okay, so you can get collateral free loan up to 50,000. That is correct, but it is in incremental tranches. Please understand this difference. Okay, now the regular repayments are incentivized, yeah, with 7% interest subsidy, and there is reward for digital transactions also. That is, maximum of rupees 100 you can get per month. Okay, so that means converts to 1,200 per year. Okay, now who all are responsible for finding out these eligible urban street vendors? It is urban local bodies. Okay, so the point that you need to note here is, see the statement under the scheme, a one-time loan of rupees 50,000 is given to eligible street vendors. This would be wrong. Okay, so this aspect you have to focus on. Okay, it is given in three separate tranches. Now, what about this one? The scheme incentivizes regular repayments. This is 7%. Okay, 7%. The urban local bodies are responsible. That is correct. Okay, this aspect you have to see. Chalo. Okay, so let's just revise what we have learned till now. Okay, so that it becomes very. Uh, the last one we learned was, yeah, Lakpati Didis. What do you remember? Lakpati Didis, important 3-4 points are there. Yeah, target is 3 crore. That is fine. That's government target. Yeah, rural woman. Okay, self-help groups. Very good. Okay, income 1 lakh. Yes, plumbing. Yes, LED, and one more is there, drone. ठीक है, इसको छोड़ के बाकी तो है ही, weaving, tailoring, that aspect is there. These are the three important ones, new ones. Fine. Chalo. The next one is Swanidhi. Here. It is women who are part of SHGs are eligible. Okay, only SHGs का नहीं है. It is women. Okay, वो specific statement दिया गया निशांत. Okay, that specific statement has been given in the document itself. Okay, only women who are part of SHGs. Okay, yes, it is 3 tranches. Okay, urban street vendors are there, started in COVID. Okay, the ministry, I think you know, so just go through that. Okay, 7% interest subvention. Fine. Chalo, come to the next one. Okay, now this one we are actually expecting this one. Okay, already this is a common scheme which has been asked multiple times in multiple competitive exams. Now, why we are focusing on this is one of the first schemes by the government, and it is now 10 years now since its implementation. Okay, so here you need to know the very specifics of Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. The basic components of it you already know. Okay, so based on the new pattern, again, I've created 4 statements here. You tell me which statements do you think might be correct here. Okay, with reference to Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, consider the following statements. Three and four. Okay. Two and four. Okay. 124 214. Yeah, 24. What about others? 24. Okay. All right. So let's see here. Okay. Now this one is very, very important. Please do go through this aspect. Okay. Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana already asked. That was also again in 2015, 14 or 15. Okay. Uh, please read in detail regarding the same. Okay. Now, Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, I think you already know regarding. It is basically for financial inclusion, right? The basic aim is financial inclusion, and it is based on 6 pillars, right? So these are the 6 pillars that are there, right? Here you are talking about universal access to banking facilities, basic savings bank account, financial literacy, credit guarantee fund, insurance, and the unorganized sector pension schemes. Okay. Now, what should you focus upon? The basic points here. Okay. So see here, what are the benefits that can be availed under the scheme? Okay. So the first one is, yeah, one basic saving bank account is opened for the unbanked person. No need to maintain any minimum balance. That aspect is there. Interest is earned on the deposited amount. Now, the important aspect that you need to focus upon is these three aspects. Okay, one is the accident insurance cover. Okay, so earlier it was 1 lakh, which has been increased to 2 lakhs now. Okay, so the accident insurance cover is 2 lakhs. The life insurance cover is 30,000. Okay, and the overdraft facility that is available is 10,000 rupees. Okay, so the accident insurance cover 2 lakhs, life insurance 30,000, and overdraft facility is 10,000 rupees. Okay, now what should you note here? Okay, so when we open up account under this Jan Dhan Yojana, it is basically a basic savings bank deposit. Okay, so there you can deposit your cash, you can take credit, okay, you can have withdrawal also, and there is ATM availability also. Okay, but at the same time, the additional services that have to be provided, okay, this can be provided by banks at their own requisite. Okay, so here these are the basic facilities that they have to provide. At the same time, if the bank wants to provide additional values, okay, additional value services, example here it is given, that is issuing of checkbook, there also it can offer the same. Okay, now you can see here opening up of additional services does not require stipulation of maintenance of minimum balance. So again, if you are providing additional services under the scheme, you cannot ask your customer to have a minimum balance. Okay, so that should not happen. It is up to the banks per se if they want to give those additional services and all. Okay, now why we are focusing on this point here? This is a recent clarification given by the finance minister in the parliament. Okay, especially regarding fixed recurring deposit. Okay, so it says under the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, there is no inbuilt provision of micro investments. Okay, however, the account holders can avail benefit of these schemes if the specific or if the respective banks offer the same. Okay, so if additional services are provided by the banks, they can avail it, even recurring deposit, but that does not come under the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana scheme. It is not an inbuilt provision. Are you getting this, everyone? Okay, so the inbuilt provisions are only 5 here. Okay, so this is a specific clarification given by last month. Okay, it was given last month in the parliament. ठीक है, जो भी additional features हैं शुभम, okay, whatever additional features are there that does not come under the Jan-Dhan Yojana scheme, okay, वो बैंक अपनी तरफ से दे सकता है. It can give it can give such facilities, but that does not come under the Pradhan Mantri Jan-Dhan Yojana scheme. Fine. Chalo. Coming to the next, yes, at its own discretion. Okay. Now come to the next point here. Okay. Now, what about can multiple accounts be opened? Okay. So again, RBI has clearly given out its guidelines that these kind of account holders, they are not eligible for opening up any other savings bank deposit in that bank. All right. At the same time, if they have multiple saving bank deposits, there also they are required to close it within 30 days if they want to avail this facility. So multiple account holders are not allowed to avail or have bank deposits under the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. Okay. Now the second aspect here is, if you want to open up an account here, you definitely need to provide KYC documents. But at the same time, if a person does not have KYC document, so then can he open the Jan Dhan account? Okay, so you can see here, if there is no KYC document, can PMJDY, that is Jan Dhan Yojana, account be opened? So yes, it can still be opened. Okay, so here it is. That account that is opened, it is termed as small account. Okay, so even if a person does not have KYC documents, if they are not able to fulfill those obligations, still under the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, something known as small account can be opened. Okay, now there are certain limitations to the same. You can go through this. Okay, what does the small account mean? Okay, so small account, it means what? The credit that you can have, there is a limitation here. It's only 1 lakh you can receive here. Okay, so the aggregate of all credits in small account, it cannot exceed 1 lakh. Okay, at the same time, you cannot withdraw more than 10,000 in 1 month out of that account that has been created. Okay, and at the same time, balance in the small account, it cannot exceed 50,000. Okay, so specific provisions have been given here. The intent behind is the same, that is with respect to money laundering. Okay, the government wants these kind of accounts should not be opened for money laundering. So that is the reason it has given these discretion, these limitations. Okay, that is the credits that are there, it cannot exceed 1 lakh in a financial year. At the same time, the withdrawals that you're doing, you cannot have more than 10,000 in a month. You cannot withdraw more than 10,000 in a month. And at the same time, the balance that is there, it cannot exceed 50,000. Okay. Now, the last point here is this small account that is there, it can be converted into a Jan Dhan account when the KYC is done. Okay, so at any point of time, this small account can be converted into a Jan Dhan account when the KYC norms are fulfilled. Okay, so without KYC documents also, you can open up a Jan Dhan account. Okay, so that is the unique points that first is the multiple accounts. You are not eligible if you have multiple accounts. The second is if you do not have KYC, still you can open up an account under the scheme. Okay, and the limitations under the same. Okay, now we come to the last part of it, that is the accident insurance, because this is also one of the major benefits of Jan Dhan Yojana, right? So here, who can avail the accident insurance? Okay, so here it is given, any person who has done even one successful transaction within 90 days prior to the date of accident, he can avail accident insurance cover. Okay, so the accident insurance cover is of what? 2 lakh rupees. So he can avail that amount if he has done one successful transaction within 90 days prior to the date of accident. Okay, now what is the age criteria? The person has to be 5 years and above to claim insurance. Okay. The rest is you can go through it. The period for submission of claim documents, yeah, 90 days. This is more important. Okay. Now, under the accident insurance policy, natural death, suicide, or death, okay, due to illness is not covered. It is only accident. Okay. Only death which is occurring due to accidental injuries is covered, not due to suicide or anything. Okay. And the claim settlement has to be done within 10 working days. Okay. So here, when we talk about accidental insurance cover, focus on this aspect, the respective day here, and okay, when can you avail this insurance policy? Fine. I hope this is clear. All right. So now come to this question here. Yeah, you tell me which statements are correct here. There is no inbuilt provision of micro investments such as flexi recurring deposits under the scheme. This statement would be, it is correct. Okay. Yes. A joint account can be opened under the scheme. That is correct. Multiple accounts can be opened. That is false. And it is mandatory for an individual to submit. That is again false. Okay. So this aspect of it, please go through it. Important points are there. We are expecting this question. Okay. So please go in detail here. I have tried to cover maximum points here. If you find any more content also, you can add that to it. Okay, this is an important one. Fine. Okay. Come to the next one. Yeah, now this one is agriculture, right? So you can see here in agriculture, the kind of questions that are asked, right? So this is again a UPSC question. In India, which of the following can be considered as a public investment in agriculture, right? So this is a question that has already been asked. Now, what we need to do is try to create a same question based on the interim budget, right? So when we talk about the interim budget, we have a statement given by the finance minister, that is digital public infrastructure for agriculture. This is a statement made, right? And so this is the term involved. So I have created a question for you. Okay, you tell me which statements are correct here. Okay, in India, which of the following can be considered as components of digital public infrastructure for agriculture? Okay, which all will come under digital public infrastructure? What about others? All except two. Okay. Hmm. Okay. एक चीज बताओ, this question, do you know the answer? अच्छा. नहीं, see again, the point here is the answer is not all here. ठीक है? The answer is not all. The reason is जब हम, yeah, when we talk about certain, exactly the opposite aspect of it you should always keep in mind. Okay, जब भी किसी का, especially in agriculture for that matter, when we talk about the agriculture topic, the opposite aspect of it you should keep in mind. And at the same time, any statement, anything which is totally against what the government is generally promoting. Okay. For example, if you see here, let's say digital public infrastructure for agriculture, we are talking about here. Which one do you think is an extreme, which the current government, okay, because it's the current government which is implementing the same, which the current government, based on its basic policy, will not implement. There is one keyword here which the current government will anyways not implement. Cloud-based services for data analytics. What's the problem? The government is focusing on data analytics. Okay, it is the one which is talking about data being used as a public good. So उसमें कोई problem ही नहीं है. Analytics part of it, fine. Any other keyword that comes that you see here? Exactly. Okay. Here, when we are talking about any form of subsidy, agriculture subsidy, exactly. Okay. So ye wala, you have to be in lookout for this. Okay. So the reason is the last question that I showed of UPSC, one of the options was all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So at least you have to read all of it, even if it seems like a simple statement. If something goes totally against, ठीक है, तो उसको एक बार थोड़ा सा आपको एक बार देखना पड़ेगा. ठीक है. So yes, here it is. Okay, not 4. Fine. So now digital literacy and all, definitely if you are promoting something known as digital infrastructure in agriculture, you need farmers to be literate about the same. Okay, so awareness program is part of any initiative, any agriculture initiative. Okay. So now why are we focusing on this program? Okay, so this is just one statement that was made by the finance minister. So here, digital public infrastructure, the statement was, you're trying to create such technologies which are farmer centric in nature. Okay, and you are basically trying to ensure that all the information related to farming is available to the farmer at the tip of its hand, right? Be it related to inputs, be it related to insurance, be it related to weather patterns, okay, be it related to real market price discovery. All of these are all the technologies which will promote this kind of information gathering. It comes under digital public infrastructure for agriculture. Okay, so it is being built as an open source, open standard, and interoperable platform. Okay, the aim is to promote agri-tech industry, even the agri startups also in the same light. Okay, now what you need to focus upon is the component that is being readied, that is agri stack. Okay, now this is one which we are expecting. We even ask the in mains also. Okay, in mains also, especially in GS3, we prepared the students on the same content. And if you go through the mains 2023 paper, you will see what the question on e-technology. It was not exactly agri stack, it was generalized e-technologies relevance in farmer. Okay, so this is an important event that is being built up, right? So here agri stack project is what? It is basically, again, you're trying to collect technologies, digital databases you are creating, and you're trying to develop such technologies for the farming sector. Okay, so what are the building blocks of AgriStack? You can go through it. Here, unique farmer ID is there. Electronic farm record is also there. So it ensures that the transfer of land that is happening, it happens at a rate and where there is no property disputes involved. Okay, so geo-reference village map is there, real-time crop data. Okay, so all the technological aspect that you can think of. Okay, now what are the objectives here? So first objective is from the digital aspect, that is the government wants to ensure that the benefits that it is giving, it reaches the farmer. Okay, the second aspect is quick identification of the beneficiaries involved. Okay, so presenceless layer for quick identification and authentication of the farmer. Okay, the third one is lowering the risk of agriculture services. Okay, that is agri credit and all. It can be directly availed by the farm. Easier schemes, okay, convergence of schemes, and at the same time, last is accelerate innovation regarding the same. Okay, so here when we talk about digital public infrastructure, please go through this aspect. Achha, yeah, this I did not cover. So when we talk about AgriStack here, yes, each farmer has a unique digital ID, okay, which has his own personal details, his production capability, and so this entails when he goes to the bank for the loan, he can directly avail the loan because there is a clear-cut record of him making sales of his produce for the past many years. Okay, so this is supposed to be a game changer in the farming industry now. Okay. Now, all the information that will be there in AgriStack, its ownership, the data ownership is with the state government. Okay. And no private company is involved in developing the federated farmers database. Okay. So this is again, the ownership of data is with the state government. Okay. So go through this aspect. Okay. It's an important one. Fine. Okay, come to the next one. Again, another one that was mentioned, that is Agriculture Infrastructure Fund. Okay, so here you have to just eliminate. Okay, in India, which of the following statements is not correct regarding the Agriculture Infrastructure Fund? Because only one statement is not correct out of the four. You tell me which one will you go with? Three. What about others? Agriculture Infrastructure Fund. Two, two, three, four. Only one is wrong, Nitish. Okay. Three statements are correct. One is wrong. Fine. Chalo. So let's see here. Agriculture Infrastructure Fund. Okay. Now, yeah. So when we talk about Agriculture Infrastructure Fund, here we are talking about, again, why is this fund for? The aim is to create some infrastructure, especially for managing crops. For managing crops after they have been harvested. Okay, so we are talking about post-harvest management infrastructure. Okay, or community farming assets. This is the major aspect. Okay, now under the Agriculture Infrastructure Fund, the financing facility is available for a limit of up to 2 crores. Okay, now here, if you are availing a loan up which is up to 2 crores or 2 crores and below, you can avail an interest subvention of 3%. Okay, and this subvention that is there, it is available for a maximum period of 7 years. Okay, so if you are availing any loan which is less than 2 crores, you get an interest subvention of 3%. Okay, the maximum time duration is 7 years. Okay, if you are availing any loan which is more than 2 crores, let's say 5 crores you are doing. Okay, so you will get interest subvention up till 2 crores. The rest 3 crores you will have to pay the normal interest rate of the bank. Okay, so that is the basic premise of Agriculture Infrastructure Fund. Okay, so here credit guarantee coverage is available and the fee for this coverage is paid by the government of India. Okay, so it is done up to a loan of 2 crores. If you're availing more than 2 crores, so you can get that interest subvention till 2 crores. After that, whatever amount is there, you have to pay the bank rate, proper rate, commercial rate. Fine. So here, which statement would be wrong here? It would be 4. Okay, the interest subvention is for a period of 7 years, not okay. All right, so let's just revise the content very fast. Okay, what we have learned. Uh, yeah, let's start with Jandan itself. What are the points that you can remember? Pradhan Mantri Jandan Yojana, the unique ones. Okay, financial inclusion, great. After that, 6 pillars. Yes, that is important. 6 pillars. Yes. Okay. 2 lakh accident in cover is there. Yes. Okay. Without KYC also you can open up small accounts. Very good. Okay. Accident insurance you can claim. Yeah. For 90 days. 90 days. Uh, since the if you have made any such transaction, one transaction within 90 days from the accident, that is there. Overdraft. Yes, it is 10,000. What else? What about life insurance? What is the amount here? It is 30,000. Great. Okay. Exactly. For suicide, it is not available. Okay. Only for accidents. Okay. That is a unique point. Uh, we'll understand why it is so. Okay. Okay. Very good, Anand. That is regarding small account. He has mentioned yes. Credit you can go till 1 lakh. Withdrawal up till 10,000. Okay. You cannot exceed more than 10,000. The balance could not be more than 50,000. Okay. What else do you remember? Multiple accounts. Can you have multiple accounts? Okay. No multiple accounts. Okay. What about joint accounts? That is yes. Okay. Yes. Within 90 days. Fine. So I think we have covered everything. Come to the next one. Yes. No, you cannot have multiple accounts. Yes. If you have, yes, within 30 days you have to close the other accounts. That is good. Yes. Fine. All right. Come to the next one. Yeah. Accident insurance also you can avail if your age is above 5 years and above. Very good. Fine. The next one is regarding agriculture. What do you remember about agriculture? Agriculture, you have agri stack. Yes. What's the aim here? Basically, technology driven. Okay. So unique farmer ID will be there. Okay. Easy loan. Yes, you can get easy loan for the same. Okay. The information about the land that is there. Okay. What is its production capacity? All that you can get. Okay. Here the data ownership is with the state. The private entities or private companies are not allowed into this. Okay. So everything digital that you can think of, it is part of it. Okay. The only point here is there should not be a subsidy component here. Fine. All right. The next one is Agriculture Infrastructure Fund. What about Agriculture Infrastructure Fund? What do you remember? Subvention, yes. Okay, you are getting subvention of 3% up to 2 crores for 7 years. Great. Okay, so the base is 2 crores. Very good. If it is going above 2 crores, till 2 crores, you will get this interest subvention. Okay. Now, what is the purpose here? The purpose for this fund. The purpose is to create infrastructure which is, yes, post harvest. Now, cold storage facilities, all of it, food processing, all of that. Fine. Chalo. So I think we have covered most of it. Uh, Yeah, we have covered most of it. Okay, so now we come to the next one. Okay, now here you can see this is again a UPSC question. Okay, why we are focusing on interest subvention and all? Because you can see the premium and all this kind of questions have already been asked in your Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. Okay, so again here we have two schemes mentioned by the finance minister, that is PM Kisan scheme, right? So again here you need to focus upon who among the following are eligible beneficiaries under the PM Kisan scheme. Okay, so you tell me, you can take a guess here. Who among the following are beneficiaries here? Okay, you can take a guess, no problem here, because this one is not easy to guess. 1, 3. 2, 3. Okay. 2, 3, 4. Okay. Chalo. So let's see here. Fine. PM Kisan Samman Nidhi. Okay. So here what is the focus on? It is basically the government is trying to provide an income support for the farmers, right? By giving them 6,000 rupees per year in 3 equal installments. Okay, so that is the basic premise here. So it is a central sector scheme with 100% funding coming from the government of India. Okay, so it is the state government and the UT administration which is responsible for identifying the farmer families. Okay, so the funds that are there, that is 6,000 rupees, it is directly transferred to the bank account of the beneficiaries. Okay, so that's the basic premise of the scheme. What you should definitely note here is who all are included and who all are excluded. Okay, so here you can see clearly, that is exclusions from Pradhan Mantri Kisan scheme. Okay, so who all are not there? Okay, so all institutional landholders. Okay, farmers families who are NRIs. Okay, in terms of the provisions of income tax. Okay, or the farmers families whose members belong to the following categories, that is if they are constitutional post holders, they cannot avail the scheme PM Kisan. If they are MP MLAs, again they cannot avail the scheme. If they are retired government officials, okay, if they are working professionals, be it doctor, engineer, lawyer, even if you are a person who paid an income tax in the last assessment year, you cannot avail a loan under the PM Kisan scheme. Okay. And even pensioners who get more than 10,000 as their pension. Okay. So there are clear cut exclusions given under PM Kisan scheme. Okay. That is institutional holders, farmers, families who are NRIs, constitutional post holders, MPs, MLAs, retired government officials, working professionals, as well as pensioners also who avail more than 10,000 monthly pension. Fine. Now, see here the regarding alternatives. Okay, because especially when you see in northeastern states, what we observe here is community land holding. Okay, so in that scenario, the farmers are eligible for the scheme if they get the permission, written permission from the village chief. Okay, so certain exceptions are given, okay, especially in northeastern states, because that is how the society functions there, community landholding. Okay, now the same with respect to forest dwelling tribes also. Okay, so the tribals holding pattas under the Forest Rights Act, okay, they are also eligible for receiving the benefits, that is 6,000 rupees under the PM Kisan scheme. Okay, so tribals are eligible. Regarding northeastern states, again they are eligible. The condition is different states, northeastern states have different criteria. Okay, majorly they have to seek permission from village chief or the district magistrate, something of that sort is given. Okay, alternative states, different parameters there. Okay, now based on this, what about this one? Who among the following are eligible to be beneficiaries? A farmer who has paid income tax in the last assessment year, that is wrong. Okay. Same. Farmer who has an NRI relative, wrong. Okay. Tribal farmer, that is correct. This is correct. Fine. Chalo. Come to the next one. Acha. Now this one I think Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana you already know. Okay. Now these both of these questions, this is asked in your UPSC. Okay. Here I framed a question for you. Okay. Now this question can be asked multiple. There are multiple points here which you need to focus upon. Okay. So there are many ways in which an examiner can easily trick the students, especially under the scheme. That is the reason you see, if you search for this scheme in competitive exams, there are many such uh, questions. You will find many such questions. The reason is the same purpose. Okay. There are a lot of facts here that you need to focus upon. Okay. So I've created a question for you. You tell me which statements are correct here. Okay. What is the objective of the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana? Okay. Just read the statements. You can take a guess. Okay. Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. 1, 2, 3. Except 4. 1 and 2. Okay. What about others? You can take a guess. Okay. No problem here. We are learning here. We should be. All right. Chalo. Let's see here. Okay. Objective 1, 2, 3. Fine. ठीक है तो ये स्कीम बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है उसका रीजन विल सी ओके क्योंकि उसमें बहुत सारे ऐसे पॉइंट्स हैं जो आपको फोकस करना है ठीक है so yes when you talk about the objectives of pradhan mantri fasal bima yojana specifically 4 objectives given under the scheme okay so you need to focus on this aspect that is provide insurance coverage and financial support to the farmers okay stabilize the income of farmers encourage farmers to adopt innovative practices, agriculture practices, and to ensure flow of credit. Okay. So stated objectives given, go through this aspect. Okay. Now, why we eliminated this point here? Because of the subsidy component here. Okay. The rest, all three are correct. Fine. So now let us go into the detail of the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. So here first and the foremost thing is which is the implementing agency, right? So it is Department of Agriculture, Cooperation and Farmers Welfare. Fine. Now this is the entity which is responsible for selecting a select number of insurance company, agriculture insurance companies. Okay. Now out of the select insurance companies that it selects, let's say it has selected 10 insurance companies, it is up to the state government to select which insurance company out of this 10 will be the implementing agency in its state. Okay, so again, I'm repeating here. So the implementing agency is Department of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. Its responsibility is to select which all agriculture companies, insurance companies can provide this insurance facility. Okay, now the final selection that is done, okay, that is with respect to, let's say 10 states are there, 10 insurance companies are there. Which insurance company will be availed? That decision is taken by the state government. Okay. So here you can see that is the selection of insurance company from amongst the empaneled insurance companies to act as an implementing agency shall be done by the concerned state government. Okay, so it is the state government which focus on this aspect. Fine. Now, the next aspect, what is the unit of insurance? Okay, so here, if you want to seek insurance here, the scheme is implemented on an area approach basis, and the defined area is village level. Okay, so here what they are saying is, if this is the village, they are focusing on ensuring those crops in this village for which they have already a past historical data. Okay, for example, I say there is rice grown in this district, there is wheat grown in this district, there is pulse grown in this district, but I have historical data of only rice and wheat. So then insurance is provided for only these notified crops, okay, for which historical data is available. That is, what is the yield of the product? Now, what is the yield from this village? What is the loss that they can expect? That data has to be there with the insurance companies. Okay, so not for all crops you can avail Fasal Bima Yojana. Only for notified crops for which you have historical data. Okay, so that's the first point you need to remember. Okay. Now the defined area is village level. So at the same time, that means if in this village there is some calamity, the insurance is given in generalized manner. That is to all the farmers that are there. It is not on the localized front. Okay. But at the same time, if it is a localized calamity within a district, for example, if there is a district here, within one part of the district, farmers lost their produce, let's say because of a landslide, because of some rainfall, something of that sort, then insurance is provided to this farmer also. I hope this is very clear. Okay, that is, even in case of localized calamity, this post harvest losses that are there, it is being assessed and it is given on an individual farmer basis. I hope this is clear. Okay, so in general terms, you're directly giving insurance. If there is any calamity, you give insurance to the entire area. Okay, whereas even if there is a localized calamity, you give insurance here to the individual farmer. Okay, now what would be the type of insurance? How much percentage it will be there? That is assessed by the district authorities, by their physical service. Fine. Now, the scheme can cover all the crops for which the past yield data is available. Okay, only for those crops it is there. Okay, and all the farmers who are growing the notified crops, who have paid the premium, they are eligible for claiming the insurance. Okay, so these are the basic aspects that you should note. Fine. Now, what are the risks that are covered that you should also note? Okay, so if you're seeking Fasal Bima, that means you're seeking insurance from the same. Okay, so in case of natural calamities, you can see here natural fire, lightning, storm, flood, landslide, okay, pests, even pests, okay, their directly insurance is covered. Okay, but at the same time, other aspects also. For example, if a farmer is prevented from sowing, okay, in his field, let's say flood happened just before the sowing of, let's say, rice or wheat, okay, just as it happened to Punjab farmers, there also you can claim an insurance, and there you will get maximum of 25%. Okay, so if a farmer is prevented from sowing, there also he can claim insurance under the Fasal Bima Yojana, but the claim will be maximum amount he can receive is 25% of the sum insured. Okay, similarly for post harvest loss also, if you have grown the crop, okay, after that if you have been to a field, you will understand ki after the rice is cut, it is left out in the field for some particular amount of days. Okay, so here also it says even after post harvest, for a maximum period of 14 days, when the crop is left in the field for drying of the field, if there is unseasonal rain, okay, which happens there, then also you can claim insurance under the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. Okay, so post harvest losses also maximum period is 14 days. Okay, it cannot be that you have cut the crop और एक महीने से बाहर पड़ा है, ऐसा नहीं. 14 days, till 14 days, if it is left out to dry and because there is sudden rainfall, you can claim this insurance. Okay. Now, regarding localized calamity, you have already known any form of localized calamity, hailstorm, landslide, okay, which is affecting isolated farms, they can also claim insurance after the assessment has been done. Okay. So, who all are covered under the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana? These are the important points here. Okay. Now, once you know who all are covered, you should also know who all are not covered. The scenarios where it is not covered. Okay. So, war, nuclear risk, riot, malicious damage, theft, act of enmity. This I think you can guess. Okay. When the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana will not work. Okay. Now, even if your crop is destroyed by domestic or wild animals, then also it is not covered. The insurance is not covered. Okay. And at the same time, in post harvest losses also, okay, in post harvest losses, after you have gathered your crops, let's say in one area you're gathering it out, you have heaved it out, and there something happens, then also you're excluded from the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. Okay, so these are the 2 points that you should keep in mind. Regarding post harvest losses, up to 14 days you are covered. After 14 days you are not covered. Simply. Fine. Now coming to the next one. Acha, what is the percentage that you have to pay? Okay, so this is the exact UPSC question that was asked, right? For all crops, 2%. That was the statement in the UPSC, right? So you can clearly see for Kharif season, the maximum insurance charges that is there is 2%. Okay, for Rabi season, it is 1.5%. Okay, and for Kharif and Rabi, especially when we talk about horticulture crops, here we are talking about 5%. Okay, so different percentages charges are there. Fine. So this has already been asked in UPSC. So we are not expecting this question to be asked again. Okay, from this slide at least. Now comes the another important aspect, that is who will share this risk under the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. Okay, after the farmers have claimed insurance, okay, so the liability lies with the insurance company, but up to a maximum of 350% of the total premium collected. Okay, or 35% of the total sum insured. Okay, so the total premium that they have collected, out of it 350% till that damage, the liability is with insurance company. Okay, or 35% of the total sum insured, whichever is higher out of these two. Okay, now after this, should the losses exceed this threshold, in this scenario what happens, the excess that is there, it will be jointly covered by central government and the state government on a 50:50 basis. Okay, so initially the risk is covered by the insurance companies. Okay, that is 350% of the premium or 35% of the sum insured. Okay, whichever is higher. If the losses are more than this, then it will be taken care by the center and the state in 50:50 ratio. Okay, so this you observed recently when we had the floods in Punjab. Okay, now what is the procedure for settlement of the claims? Directly you are crediting the amount directly into the account of the individual farmers. Okay, so I hope this content is clear to you. ये बहुत important aspect है. Okay, so please do go through this aspect. Na Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. Okay, all right. So we already know these three are the correct statements. Okay, so let's just revise very fast. Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. What unique points that do you remember? है ना, पहला तो ऑब्जेक्टिव ही है, ये तीनों ऑब्जेक्टिव है. ओके, दिस ऑब्जेक्टिव इज क्लियर. नेक्स्ट वन इज, हु इज द इम्प्लीमेंटिंग एजेंसी? It gives insurance and financial support. Yes, that is there. Which is the implementing agency? It is, yes, Department of Agriculture. Yes, Farmers Welfare. Okay. Now it is the one which selects the insurance companies, a list of insurance companies, out of which the state government will decide. Okay, which insurance will work under it. Okay, so that aspect. Chalo, that aspect is done. What other points do you remember? What risks are covered? Yeah, area approach basis is there. Okay, the unit of insurance is basically the village level. Okay, it is the village level for those crops for which the historical data you know. Okay, it's notified, clearly notified. Okay, yes, for localized calamities also they are covered. Okay, subject to the assessment done by the local level authorities. Fine. Okay, now which risks are covered here? Past yield data is there. Yes. Post harvest also. Yes. Post harvest losses are there up to a period of 14 days. Exactly, Mirza. Okay. Maximum of 14 days you can claim. Okay. What about if you have been prevented from sowing? आपको grow ही नहीं करने दिया. So how much can you claim? Yes, 25% of the sum insured. ठीक है, sum insured is depending upon the yield of your land. ना? और बाकी जो भी चीज है इसमें any natural calamity which includes pests also, keep that in mind. Okay, pests, diseases, है ना, the rest calamities. Now what are the exclusions? Exclusions is, yes, any form of domestic damage that is done or anything that is done by a wild animal. Okay. Yes, percentage is 350 percentage of the total premium. Yes. Okay, 35% of the sum insured. Yes, that is covered by the insurance company. After this, it is state and center. 50 is to 50. Okay. Now, what about, what else is there? Tenant also covered. Yes. What else is there? Yeah, this. What about this one? Here it is 2%. Here it is 1.5%. Here it is 5%. Okay. So different percentages are there. Go through this aspect also. Fine. Chalo. Come to the next one. Now we are talking about skill development. Okay, the next part of it. So here you can see this is already a UPSC question. Okay, recognition of prior learning scheme. Okay, so here you have a recent scheme which has been launched by the government just 2 or 3 months back, right? That is PM Vishwakarma Kaushal Samman scheme, PM Vikas, right? So here, which are the objectives? Which do you think are the objectives of the scheme? You can take a guess, no problem. 1 to 4, except 3. 1 to 4. Very good. Okay. So here you eliminated 3 based on the subsidy component. Okay. Yes. So the rest 3 are correct here. Okay. Vishwakarma, a recently launched scheme. So you need to know the aspect here. Okay. So here you have, it's a central sector scheme. Okay. Again, traditional artisans here focusing both in rural as well as urban area. Vishwakarma. Okay. So what is the aim here? The aim is to upgrade the skill of the person involved and at the same time use modern technology in these traditional art forms. Okay. Now here again, a collateral loan is available up to 3 lakhs. But this is again an incremental aspect. Okay. So 1 lakh is given in the first tranche and then 2 lakhs in the second tranche. Okay. So concessional rate is 5%. Okay. And the push is basically that these skilled artisans and craftspersons, they will go on to join MSMEs. Okay. Now, what is the eligibility criteria? Okay. So to be eligible to avail the scheme, okay, so any artisan or craftsman who is related to the 18 family-based traditional trades that have been mentioned under the scheme, they can avail the benefits of the scheme. Okay, so the government has earmarked 18 such traditional trades, okay, who are eligible for Vishwakarma Yojana. Okay, the minimum age of the beneficiary, again, it has to be 18 years. Okay, the third component is the beneficiary that is there, he should not have availed any other loan or schemes under the state government or the central government. Okay, so this beneficiary, yeah, he cannot have multiple, he cannot avail multiple such schemes. Okay, now see the important point here. That is, the registration and benefits under the scheme that is done shall be restricted to only one member of the family. Okay, so if you remember the Atal Pension Yojana question of previous year question, there also the same aspect, you know, कि किसको मिलना चाहिए. Okay, so here also that restriction is clearly given. It is to one member of the family. Okay, now a family is considered of as a husband, wife, and unmarried children. Okay, similarly, a person in government service shall not be eligible under the scheme. Okay, so what is the eligibility criteria? 18 such family-based trades. The person should be 18 years and above. Okay, he should not be availing any other such schemes. Okay, only one member of the scheme can avail a benefit, and he should not be in government service. Okay, now let us see what are those 18 traditional trades. So here you can go through them. Okay, what are those 18 traditional such trades which can avail and benefits under PM Vishwakarma? Fine. Now, what you need to focus upon, what is the benefit? So here first is the recognition itself. Okay, you are recognized as a Vishwakarma through certificate and ID card. Okay, second is the skilling component. So here you have both the basic training as well as advanced training is available. Okay, at the same time there is training stipend, as well as if you want to buy any tool, okay, the grant is also provided. Okay, so there is basic training available, advanced training available, training stipend is there. For tools also there is necessary grants. Okay, now coming to the credit aspect, we have already seen a collateral free loan of up to 3 lakhs can be availed. Okay, but again, they are in tranches. In first, the 1 lakh that you can avail, it is for you have to repay within 18 months. Okay, the second lakh, the 2 lakhs that you can avail, it has to be repaid in 30 months. Okay, so the concessional interest rate is there up to 5%, and there is an interest subventions cap also of 8%. Okay, that aspect you need to focus on. And similarly, marketing support is also provided under the scheme. Fine, that is National Committee for Marketing. Okay, who all will be part of this? We currently don't know. The government has not highlighted that aspect. Okay, apart from this, the benefit aspects of it, we already fine. So here you tell me which statements are correct here. Actually, you already know. It is 1, 2, and 4. Okay. So please go through this Vishwakarma Yojana. It is available both for rural and urban India. Okay. Artisans of both rural and urban India. Fine. Yes. So this is done. Come to the next one. Okay. So here you can see again regarding Atal Pension Yojana. This is what pension. Okay. Similarly, any form of pension is there, any form of insurance is there. Those questions are important. So this is already a UPSC question. Fine. Now, based on the same pattern, I've created a question here that is regarding Pradhan Mantri Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana. Okay. Scheme given, three statements given. You can take a guess. Okay. Which statement do you think is correct? Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana. Any idea? Which of the following statement is true? 1 and 3. Okay. What about others? देखो, you can take a guess. Okay, no problem here. Okay. We are not checking if you're right or wrong. I want you to focus on those points where you go wrong. Okay, that is the only things that you will remember in the exam hall. That's the point of this question and answer format. Okay. So once you go wrong here, उस पे आपका ज़्यादा नजर जाता है. Okay. Yeah, 1 and 3, 2 and 3. Fine, no problem. One only. ठीक है. Fine. Chalo, let's search the answer for this through the slides. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So Pradhan Mantri Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana. So again, Bima is there. That is, we are talking about an insurance scheme here, right? So it is basically a 1-year life insurance scheme, and it has to be renewed every year. Okay. Now note this point. This is unique. That is, the coverage is provided for death due to any reason. That is the unique point regarding this insurance scheme. Okay, we learned about another insurance scheme. If you remember, there suicide was not part of it. Yes. Okay. Whereas in this one, what do you think? Even if a person commits suicide, it comes under what? He can avail the insurance under this scheme. Yes, exactly. This was regarding Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. Okay, so please understand, when we talk about insurance schemes, generally suicide is not included, but in this specific scheme, the coverage is for death due to any reason. Okay, so the aim is to provide life insurance cover. And now, who all are eligible here? Okay, so it is the age group is 18 to 50 years. Okay, having a savings bank or a post office account. Okay, now after the completion of 50 years also, if you are continuously paying the premium, annual premium you are paying, you can claim life insurance up to the age of 55 years. Okay, now you can see here. Yeah, so who all are the eligible beneficiaries? Okay, so that is people who are in the age group of 18 to 50 years. They can claim under Pradhan Mantri Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana. Okay. Now, what are the salient features? So the life insurance coverage that is given is up to 2 lakhs. Okay. The premium that is there, it is 436 per annum. Okay. Annually, you need to renew this insurance cover. Okay. Now, insurance cover is available up till the age of 55 years. It is available up till 50. Now, after that, if you're continuously paying, okay, you can avail it till 55 years. Okay. Now, enrollment can be done at bank branch. Okay. Now, what you should note here is regarding the premium point. Okay. See, for those who are getting enrolled under Pradhan Mantri, this Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana for the first time, the premium may not be the same. Okay. If you're enrolling in the month of June, July, and August, yes, you need to pay the full premium, that is 436 rupees. If you are joining in later months, your premium decreases. Okay, so that is known as pro rata premium. Okay, so that's a unique point that you need to note here. Okay, now this is only available for those people who are availing it for the first time. I hope this is very clear. Okay, so if you are availing it for the first time, yes, the premium is 436 rupees. But now, depending upon the month in which you are joining, the premium can reduce also. Okay, now at the same time, insurance cover, it is available only after 30 days. After you have taken an insurance, only after 30 days of after enrollment can you claim the insurance cover. Okay, so insurance cover shall not be available for death other than due to accident. Okay, during the first 30 days. Okay, so that initial period is there. So that initial period you have to focus. Fine. Now, what are the other unique points that you should note here? Dekho, in case of multiple accounts, again, what happens? A person is eligible to join the scheme only from one account. Okay. Second, the individual can exit the scheme at any point of time, and he may also rejoin the scheme at any point of time. Okay. The only condition here is when he rejoins, again, the 30-day period will be starting. Okay. That is, after he rejoins, in the first 30 days, he cannot claim insurance. Okay. Now, similarly, now when is the insurance terminated? Okay, so on attaining the age of 55 years, you already know, if you're not able to pay your premiums, okay, because of insufficient balance, again, there is closure of account, then insurance will be terminated. Okay, so that aspect you have to note. Similarly, if you have claimed insurance or if you have availed insurance in more than one account, okay, from more than one account you are claiming insurance, again, that is three ways in which the scheme will nullify your life insurance. Okay, now coming to the last important point, that is, are NRIs eligible under this scheme? Okay, so it is clearly given any NRI, okay, having an eligible bank account with a branch bank located in India is eligible for this scheme, Pradhan Mantri Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana. Okay. Now, similarly, death arising due to natural calamities, regarding suicide from murder, all of these are covered under this insurance scheme. Okay, from death arising due to any event. Okay. Now, the last important point, that is, who will avail the benefit? That is, once the insurance is claimed, a person has died, the 2 lakh coverage that is given, it is given only to the nominee. Now, it is here that you will see it is again different from the normal life insurance. Okay, generally in other life insurances, what happens? The insurance is given, the coverage is given to the nominee, the benefit is given to the nominee, or if the nominee is not there, it is given to the legal heirs. Okay, whereas here it is specifically given only to the nominee. The reason being, the government wants to ensure that all the people are insured. That is what it wants premiums to be very low. Okay, so that is the reason it is giving the benefit only to the nominee, not to the legal heirs also. Okay, and at the same time, upon the end, okay, there is no maturity benefit or surrender value also. Okay, because again, the concept is life insurance, it is not used as an investment purpose. Okay, there is no maturity benefit here. Fine, I hope this is very clear. Okay, so let's just revise this very fast. What are the points that you remember regarding Pradhan Mantri Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana? What do you remember? First is, what is the coverage? What is the age group that has to be there? Yes, it is 1 year. Okay. Age group is 18 to 50. It can be extended till 55 years. Yes. Okay. Now, what is the coverage here? Life insurance cover. Yes. Any death. Any death is there. Okay. Insurance coverage is 2 lakhs. What is the premium? Premium is 436, but it can be changed. But that is only for the first time. Okay. Yes. No, LIC is not LIC and other insurance. It's not just LIC. Okay. It can be LIC and other life insurance companies also can give this. Okay. Yes. What else do you remember here? Regarding NRIs, yes, NRIs can avail this facility if they have a bank branch in India. Okay. Death due to natural calamities, suicide, murder, all of this is covered. Okay. Yes, any reason. And only the nominee is given the benefit of 2 lakh rupees. Okay. No other person is given that aspect. Okay. So that is the two unique points that you need to remember this regarding this Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana. Fine. So now based on what you have learned, which statements would be correct here? It provides life insurance cover to the insured for a period of 1 year, which needs to be renewed every year. The statement is life insurance cover to 1 year, renewed, needs to be renewed every year. That is correct. Okay. Yes, it offers a risk coverage of 1 lakh in case of insured person's death due to any reason. That is wrong. It is 2 lakhs. Fine. Now, any individual opting into the scheme for the first time will be subject to a uniform premium payment. This would be, that would be wrong. Okay, it's pro rata premium. Fine. So go through that aspect also. This is again another scheme which has been mentioned by the finance minister in the scheme. Okay. Now we come to the last scheme for today, that is Pradhan Mantri Janjati Adivasi Nyay Maha Abhiyan. This is regarding inclusive development of tribals. Okay. Yes, exactly. PVTGs. So we have already seen PVTGs question already asked in your UPSC. So this scheme focuses upon which of the following? All okay. What about others? What do you think? All. One, two, four. Okay. One, two, four. Okay. Chalo, let's see here. Okay. So yes, this is Pradhan Mantri Janjati Adivasi Nyaya Mahabhiyan. Okay. So the scheme was launched at the birthplace of Birsa Munda. Okay. Now the focus is to improve the socio-economic caste census of PVTGs. Okay. So we have already discussed PVTGs. What are the socio-economic parameters on the basis of which we assign PVTGs, right? So here, how is this scheme different? The scheme is basically the first one where the schemes of all 9 ministries are working in tandem so as to ensure there is basic development projects being implemented in the PDTGs. Okay, so the bridging gap in health, education, livelihood, basic infrastructure, they're trying to implement in the PVTGs. Okay, now this is located in the Ministry of Tribal Affairs and the focus. So you can see here what is important. So the foundational feature is what? For the first time, 9 ministries of the government of India, they will converge together to provide welfare for the most vulnerable communities. Okay, so this coverage is for all the PVTGs that are there in 18 states and union territories. Okay, now identification of gaps, alignment of schemes you will do. Okay, and at the same time, The monitoring mechanism is also provided for the same. Any scheme, any development project, how it is being implemented, the portal has been developed in the PM Gati Shakti portal. Okay. Now, reward mechanism is also given based on the performance of each district. Okay. Now, let us see here which schemes are covered here. Okay. So, you can see, yeah, both are the same. So, what areas are we focusing upon? Primarily, no? One is safe housing. One is clean drinking water and sanitation. One is education, healthcare and nutrition, road and telecom connectivity. Okay. And sustainable livelihood opportunities. So we are trying to provide tribal empowerment by focusing on these parameters. Here there is road and telecom connectivity is also part of it. Fine. Now coming to the implementation structure here. Okay, in the implementation structure, in the state level, it is the district collector, which you all will become, right? We are hoping that that is the district level committee under the chairmanship of district collector. They are the ones who will decide who all are the eligible beneficiaries. Okay, and at the state level, the apex committee is headed by the chief secretary. Whereas in the central level, you will have the high powered committee, which will be chaired by the Minister of Tribal Affairs, who will look in the implementation of this scheme. Okay, so at the state level, it will be headed by the chief secretary. At the central level, it will be the Minister of Tribal Affairs. Okay, now Niti Aayog is basically focusing on the convergence part. There are 9 ministries involved. They have different developmental projects. So Niti Aayog will ensure that the basic aims that are being implemented in the tribal areas, they converge. Okay, so that is the basic implementation structure. Fine. Now, based on it, which statements are correct here? Here it would be this one is correct, this one is correct, this one is also correct. Fine. This is also correct. Okay. So regarding inclusive development, you need to go through this. Fine. Chalo. All right. Now with that, I end the class for today. Okay. Now there are 2-3 announcements that I have to make. First and the foremost thing is there is 2 or 3 more schemes that are left. Okay, I did not want to cover everything today. Okay, one is Ayushman Bharat. Okay, this will cover, it's very important. We'll cover that in current affairs because it's relevant from the current affairs point of view. Okay, one is Skill India. Okay, the third part is the economics part of the budget. Okay, the economics part of the budget we will cover in the coming week. Okay, the coming week we will cover the same. Fine. Now regarding the GS class, there will be no GS class tomorrow. The reason is Vikas sir has been stuck in Haldwani. Okay, so there is riots going on there, so he is not currently available. So most probably he will be able to take the class on Tuesday. If he is not able to take the class on Tuesday, I will be taking the current affairs class. Okay, so currently there will not be a GS class tomorrow. Okay, so whenever he comes back, he will be taking the class on economic survey, minimum and the economic survey part. Fine. Now the third announcement is regarding CSAT crash course. If there is any student who wants to avail this facility, it's a 7-day program on number system. Okay, 7-day crash course is there on number system, which will be held every day in the next week. Okay, so if anyone is interested, they can directly message me. The program will start tomorrow at 2 p.m. Fine. All right. So with that, we end the class for today. Fine. If there is any other doubt, that person can stay back. The rest of you can leave. Okay. The class for today is over. Sarin, you can message. Any doubt you have regarding CSAT crash course, you can personally message me. Okay. Fine. Fine. With that, we end the class for today.